Hello and welcome to the DC Stewart Show podcast. I'm your host, Derek Stewart, and it is Friday. It is a Friday morning here in Los Angeles, and it's kicking after midday in Miami and in the beautiful state of Florida. Look, folks, we're so happy to be here. I got my kinfolk back with me. We got Najee back. I don't know what to say. I'm just at a loss for words to have this brother back because he means so much to this show. And we missed him because he was away busy, but he's back with us, and we're pretty happy. We're pretty ecstatic to be here on a Friday to talk about a ton of sports topics with you, and we're going to have a discussion, open discussion. We want your engagement. We want your involvement. We're currently live on YouTube. We're currently live on Facebook, and we're currently live on Twitch. Excuse me, I'll rephrase that. Twitch TV. And we're having a time of our life over at Twitch TV. Go over there and follow us because we're growing. And I'm telling you, Twitch, we're going to be blowing the roof off of that real soon. And we're getting a lot of feedback over at Twitch as well. I hope you, the viewer, are doing really good on a Friday. Thank God it's Friday. They used to have a song back in the 70s called Thank God It's Friday. I can't sing, though, but, you know, I'm trying to do the closest mimic.
Just got paid, too.
And Friday just got paid. You remember Johnny Kemp? Johnny Kemp was the man. Friday, you just got paid. And that means everybody's getting their money today. They're getting their bag today, right?
Yeah, money in your pocket, baby. Papa got a brand new bag, baby.
Papa got a brand new bag.
New bag.
And you know what? Isaiah's wearing all green, so he definitely got his bag intact. I mean, he's got the green brim on. He's got the green shirt. And he's a handsome brother, too. I can't say enough about how handsome he is. You know what I'm saying?
That's without saying. That's
without saying. And I got my guy Najee here. He looking all world, casual, and it just don't get no better than that, for sure.
Yeah.
So, let me just say, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We're just blowing it out of the park. We're knocking home runs. We're hitting home runs right now. We're blowing things out of the park. We got over 200,000 views on our different videos. And watch our long form videos. Our long form videos, take a few minutes of your time out extra. Watch our long form videos because that context from those shorts you see on YouTube is really engaging from the perspective that you'll be able to see how things kind of come along step by step when we're talking about certain, topics and certain comments and stuff like that. We appreciate your comments, agree, disagree, indifferent, whatever the case may be. So let me introduce you to my first kin folks, Mr. Green, the man with the bag, the all-world Isaiah. What the hell is going on, Isaiah? I'm so happy to see you on a Friday, brother.
Yeah, mention color green because when you mention green, that means the guy who's soft, he don't know what he's talking about and all
Mr.
that.
Green Jeans?
It's the color green.
You remember Mr. Green Jeans?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Mr. Green Jeans. We grew up on that, man.
We grew up on Mr. Green
man,
Jeans.
They ain't listening, guys. Yeah. Yep. Every kid had to know who Mr. Green Jean was, man.
And if you didn't, you were in a world of trouble.
Every morning.
Yeah, he did.
Man, you was. It was like you get hit. You get a spanking for almost not knowing what's going down with Mr. Green Jeans and Captain Kangaroo and all those guys like that with his fat sideburns.
Sesame Street, Big Bird. Yes. So tell us a little bit about what's going on your Friday.
Hey, man, listen, it's beautiful outside. It was scorching yesterday, then it did a little raining. This morning it poured down, but now it's nice outside. But listen, I'm preparing for a beautiful weekend this weekend of sports, man. My Dolphins are out there on the field. My Kings are out there on the field, and it's looking really good for both teams. I'm going out there to see the coach next week. Cristobal, he's inviting people to come out there and meet and greet.
Yeah, he's on campus, right? At the campus store, giving away gear so you can get your UM gear over there from Coach Cristobal.
Yeah, if
And
you want to meet me, I'll be in the house.
absolutely.
So,
And you know what? I
yeah,
want Coach Cristobal on the show, man. We got to get him on the show. Just at least,
yeah.
Coach Cristobal, give us at least 15 to 30 minutes of your time if you can carve that out. I know you're really busy, but we definitely want you onto this show at some point in time.
Yeah, we'll get him on. I'll go out there and meet him next week, and I'll urge him to get on the show where we could talk about his new team and the new coaches that's there too. And man, you got a new quarterback and all that stuff, man. There's a lot of new stuff going on, boy. Listen, but it's
That is so
exciting
true.
down there, man. They got a big thing going on. So I'm excited to see the season kick off. They're ranked number 10 according to the coaches polls yesterday. So we'll see how that panned out.
That's a pretty high
Yep, you
ranking to
see.
put him up in top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very,
Because I
very
think they got
good
him on
for the
something. I
program.
think they got him on something, man. You know, they missed it by an inch last year, so this year they should improve. The quarterback situation has changed, but
Carson
listen,
Beck.
this quarterback, Carson Beck, has got a lot of experience, so they should finish where they left off last year, in my opinion.
And you know
Yeah,
the good thing I like about Carson Beck? He's got Shannon Dawson. I mean, I'm not throwing any shade at
yeah,
Georgia's offensive coordinator, but I just think Shannon Dawson is going to be very creative with what Carson Beck is going to be doing during the regular season. So stay tuned for that one for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, one thing I just hope these guys stay healthy this year, man. When you have no injuries, these guys been working those tour days for all the summer months, and now somebody go down. I just pray that these guys stay healthy because that's when you can really see what kind of team that you can have when everybody is at full throttle and nobody's injured. Everybody's healthy and playing and you know getting strength because their strength and conditioning has improved a great deal too. Because remember, back in the day they had this enormous strength and conditioning coach, and he was like he had a history of good players that was coming in back to back who bought into his philosophy of getting those necks strong and those shoulders strong and those quads and his calf muscles, and he was really into fitness and strength, and that's what ultimately win these championships because boy, all of this stuff happened in the trenches. And on that line of scrimmage is where it's all going down with these big old husky dogs in the middle battling out. And,
Yeah.
and, and that's what he was good at. He was good at getting these guys prepared for these games. And so, and they don't have to be that big. You just got to have great technique and some strength to go with it. And you can freaking move a guy if you want to. So
Exactly.
that's how that works. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Najee, Kinfolk Najee, tell me about your week. Tell me a little bit about your day. You're a handsome guy, so what can I say, man? You gotta give us what you got.
Yeah, so
Uh,
besides, I had my own adult errands I had to do for the week. I mean, it was a busy work week for me. Now I finally get the weekend off to myself, so I don't have to worry about that until Monday. But as I said, it was pretty hot, pretty much this whole week too, and it started raining around 2-3 o'clock in the morning. So I said, oh boy, they already said it's going to be a wet weekend. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I'm gonna be able to do something outside without ruining your plans or whatever. But at least I'm able to get away from work and relax a little bit.
Exactly. Exactly. That's all well and good. Tell you a little bit about my week. I had a really solid week this week. Got a lot of things done. My focus, I'm laser focused on making this show better. And I know my kinfolk, Isaiah and Najee, we're all zeroed and laser focused on bringing the best that we can bring to you through Annie Brown, because Annie Brown is the one just creating all of these really interesting topics that we be talking about.
yeah.
So we're going to continue to stay laser focused on this show to make sure that, because I believe firmly, and I'm pretty sure my kinfolk believe, we got the best show on the internet right now. A lot of people don't
Of
know
course.
that because we're not exposed as much as some of these other shows, some of these other famous
We
shows
coming.
hmm
like
We
Nightcap. I
coming.
mean, you look at
Yeah, we
Nightcap, for
coming.
example. These are two ex NFL gold jacket players. And I know Shay Shay
Yeah.
is. And, for their popularity and people who know who they are, it's easy for them to galvanize a bigger following because people know who they are. But they are learning who we are. And we're coming in and we're kicking in the door. We ain't taking no shorts. We kicking it all the way in. See how they used to do on them police movies back in the 70s? Where they kick that door and it flop right open? That's the way we doing it. And we gonna do a no knock. We doing a no knock when we kick it in the door. We just gonna kick it in, and you gonna be like, "Gee whiz, what's up?" Man. Right?
Yeah.
So beyond that, I enjoyed my birthday yesterday. Me and my wife, we had a really, really nice dinner last night. We didn't go to no fancy restaurant. We didn't go out and spend $400. Because I like to get my drink on when I go out. So that's where all of the costs usually come in, is through the alcohol. The food is just, that's a side dish for the restaurant. They make their money off of alcohol. And we usually buy a bottle of wine. We don't buy one glass because it's cheaper to buy the whole bottle. That way, you have about 4, sittings of the wine rather than paying $12 per glass. We just pay for a whole bottle. So we celebrated last night. I'm so happy to be alive. I'm so happy to be healthy. I'm so happy my family is healthy. And we had a really nice time. So, I'm 1 year older, 1 year wiser. And this is kind of how we doing it, One thing I do want to share with everybody, I want to send a shout out to Dwayne Torres. Dwayne Torres is near and dear to my heart. Dwayne Torres is a young man who lives in Miami, and he was injured while trimming a tree in Miami, and he was electrocuted. And he he technically wasn't given any chance to survive. I mean, literally, Jackson Ryder Trauma Center, which is one of the best trauma centers in the country, not just Florida, not just Miami. The Jackson Memorial Hospital Ryder Trauma Center is the best trauma center in the country, in my opinion. Dwayne stayed in that hospital for years recovering because they didn't give him much of a chance, but that fight inside of him didn't give up. And I just take my hat off to this brother, man. And I cannot wait to get back to Miami where I can look Dwayne up and we go out and we go eat. Me, the kinfolk, and Dwayne gonna get together and we gonna sit down and we gonna chat because I'm so happy he's still around. So he's an inspirational part to me of this show. Yeah. So I just wanted to get that out there for sure. Yeah. So where the party at?
Right here. It was
right
last
here.
week.
That thing right here.
Month,
it's right here, sir.
Year.
It's right here.
Get your groove on right here. All entertainment, baby.
Baby.
Annie Brown, what you got?
Annie Brown is getting ready to deliver. The party is here. So let's get this first topic out here and let's talk a little bit about, we'll start out with NFL today, and we're going to start out with the Indianapolis Colts quarterback, Anthony Richardson. Tip-top athlete, come out of University of Florida. He's an athletic specimen. But unfortunately for him, he entered the NFL ranks, and his injuries has impacted him to a point where he was injured in a game, and I believe it was against the Ravens last night when Indianapolis in a preseason game, and he severely dislocated a finger last night. So this is just technically another setback for Anthony Richardson, but let's just say this. I just think he's going to rebound, and I think he's still going to be a good quarterback in the NFL, and he's just going to have to stay strong and just believe that he could play at that level and not give up thinking that, look, I've been injured for the last several years. I've had different nagging injuries. That's the NFL. I mean, it's a barbaric game. I mean, it's a game where you have two human beings colliding with each other at sometimes 20 miles an hour, sometimes 15 miles an hour. It all depends on the velocity. It all depends on the person's weight. It all depends on the person's trajectory. And entering all these terms in because I have been to football games live and I've watched them crash into each other. I was just looking at a highlight yesterday from Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry he's a load. I mean, he's an 18-wheeler truck running through them holes. And Derrick Henry broke into the middle of the field, and he didn't see this defender coming. And listen, he got leveled. That was one of the biggest hits I've seen on Derrick Henry. Actually, it was the only biggest hit I've ever seen Derrick Henry take. So I'm going to ask Isaiah about Anthony Richardson. He's had a timeline. Since being drafted, he's had shoulder, hip, back, foot injuries, concussion history, and just this thumb. I mean, or should I say his finger being severely dislocated. And I don't know whether people know, but to have a dislocated finger is excruciating pain. They said the finger was bent back in a position where it just didn't look normal at all, you know. So Isaiah, tell us a little bit about injuries in the NFL, how quarterbacks and running backs tend to sustain most of them because they're taking the ball a majority of the time, right? So tell us a little bit about that, because I know Anthony Richardson, he's got the size to play at that level and he's got the speed and all of that. It's just things have just happened to him, you know, unfortunately, right?
Yeah, but that's the nature of the game. This game is a brutal game, and is a game where it's a man upon man, and you know, if you're a wuss, this ain't for you. But you know that can happen any play. I've seen quarterbacks grab back and throw the ball and hit their hand on somebody's helmet and break their finger or their wrist or their hand or whatever the case may be, and dislocate something, and they can be out for many, many weeks because of it. So his main thing is, especially, I've seen portions of a DC, but I don't even know if that's his throwing hand. If it's not his throwing hand, he'll be fine. But if it's his throwing hand, he better get rid of for rehab. Get ready for rehab, and you know they got several different exercises that they can get that finger back intact pretty rapidly if he go in there and do exactly what he's told and he's icing it. I mean, if he didn't have to have any operations on it where they have to go in there and repair the bone and stitch it up and all this type of stuff, they just got to snap it back in place and keep it, you know, wrapped. He should be back, you know, in a week or two or three. But if there's stitches in it and you have to go in there and mend muscles back together, it may take a little bit longer. But you know, sometimes hands could be a nagging thing. You know, there's a lot of doctors are making tons of money off of that wrist and that hand combination because, you know, you got to get that thing rehab because arthritis is set in it. And if arthritis set in it, man, you're going to be in a lifetime of pain because that stuff goes with the weather too. When the weather changes, your hand could be a nagging situation for you. So I think he need to just relax. He's going to be okay. He made the team and everything. So just get the rehab done and he should be fine. And I'm eager to see him push out this season.
You and me both. You know, with his elite athleticism, I mean, he's an athletic specimen. I mean, he's 6'4", 245 pounds. That is no imagination of any stretch that a quarterback that big can play at that level. Because usually a lot of quarterbacks you see, they're extremely on the skinny side or they're on the short side, you know, like Russell Wilson. I mean, he's always been undersized in terms of his height. I mean, he's grown above that. He's risen above the fact that
his size is almost like Cam Newton.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Absolutely. So Najee, let me ask you this. The question is this. Do you think a lot of these NFL players, you think they think about the possibility of being hurt rather than just going out there and just throwing it all out there at the same time? Like going out there playing with a reckless abandon, like a lot of players you see that played with reckless abandon, they literally never get injured, right?
It depends on the athlete who you're talking about, because if it's Patrick Mahomes do a lot of stuff that freaking, you know, it challenges his longevity of the career every play. Just like the last Super Bowl he played, not the Eagles, but he made a lot of plays that he could have got his head taken off. But then you got people like Tua, or you have somebody like like Andrew Luck, even though he's out, that they will do plays and they will always get hurt. So if they always get hurt, you can tell that they already in the mind, in the back of their head, should I make this move? Because you can see it in their run. Like if they're not completely determined to make their move, then you can see they're thinking as they're moving. That's how you end up also getting hurt because now you're not 100% sold on whatever move you're gonna make.
Well,
True.
when you're timid, that happens. When you're timid, that's
Yeah,
happening. When you're confident,
yeah, that's
most
what
of
I'm
the time that
saying.
don't happen. And it's also happening
Exactly.
more so to offensive players than defensive players. The defensive players are savages. They really want to bring the
Oh,
heat
they are
to you. They don't
savages.
think about
Yes.
hurt. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I remember a play, and I don't know whether you guys remember this game when Baltimore was playing Pittsburgh, and this was probably back 10 years ago. Joey Porter and all those guys was at Pittsburgh at that time, and those guys used to get into it in the pregame warmups. They literally tell each
Mhm.
other,
Yeah.
especially Ray Lewis, T. Sizzle, Ed Reed, and all of those. I mean, them guys were warriors on that Ravens defense. But on the flip side of that, you had James
hmm
Ferrier on Pittsburgh's defense. You had Joey Porter, and they had
There's a
some dogs as well. And I
intimidation.
remember that game. Rashard Mendenhall was a running back out of Illinois, and super good running back out of Illinois at that time. And Ray Lewis literally told Mendenhall, "I'm gonna end your game this game. I'm gonna get you out of this game." And he told him that. And I saw Ray Lewis pointing at him. And sure enough, in that game, because that was a
You're
brutal
mine.
game, man. That was one of the most brutal games. Willis McGahee, he got hurt because he was a running back for the Ravens at the time. And Pittsburgh was able to put him out. And then once Rashard Mendenhall took a handoff and went into the pile, bam, he come out holding his shoulder, literally bent over because he had a separated shoulder just that quick. And I'm wondering to myself whether he was thinking about that in the back of his head, what Ray Lewis and all them, defenders had told him on that Baltimore defense that, look, we're going to get you. It's kind
Yeah,
of like that bully in school. I used to have a bully in the school. And I'm going to tell you a quick story before we move on. I used to go to Earlyton Heights Elementary, and we had a bully, and his name was Ricky Green. And Ricky Green was one of the best fighters I ever seen for an elementary school kid, of course. And for some reason, Ricky Green took a disliking to me. I don't know why. I didn't do anything to him. But long story short, he told me, he said, DC, I'm going to get you. So just be ready after school because I'm going to get you. And you talking about, my heart literally dropped into my lap because I was so afraid to go home thinking this guy was going to beat me down. And guess what? Guess who came to the rescue? Isaiah's brother.
Okay.
Isaiah's brother came to the rescue because Isaiah's brother was a better fighter than Ricky Green. And Isaiah's brother,
Eric.
I was walking with his brother one
Oh
time,
Lord,
and Ricky walked up to me,
yeah.
and Ricky told me, he says, I got a problem with you, DC. And Isaiah's brother say, you know what? I got a problem with you, Ricky. What's up? And sure enough, he backed down and he never threatened me again. So that timidness, and you get afraid thinking that bully may get you, and they'll get you legitimately on a defense. I mean, depending on what type of defense you're facing off with, right? So
yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
praying that Anthony Richardson can have a better, once he recovers from this. I'm holding out prayer for this brother that he can, proceed and continue on with his NFL career and not sustain any more injuries that's going to take time away from him, because his time is similar to Tua's to me. I mean, Tua has been out with a concussion problem, on and off for years.
Every year since he's been
Every
drafted.
year he gets a concussion. And I think that first concussion that he really sustained was against the Buffalo Bills, when Rich Milano, the linebacker for the Bills, shoved him and he fell backwards and he fell right on the back of his head. And when he fell on the back of his head, he jumped up and he was punch drunk literally when he got up.
Woozy.
He's about
Woozy.
he went down, he was woozy, and they had to get him off the
Yeah.
field because he didn't want to leave the field because, Tua's a warrior too. I'm not going to take that from him. He don't want to come out of those games.
He was in his own. He was trying to get in his own way.
He was trying to get in his own way. So, and he's a little bit undersized. I know he's putting on some weight and stuff since he's been in the NFL, but when he was with Alabama, to me he was undersized in terms of his size to be able to sustain a 16 game season in the NFL. So these
he was
injuries are
undersized.
critical. It's critical to a team's success. It's critical to the player and his future and his family. And guess what? At the end of the day, we just all want to watch these guys play football. We don't want to watch them standing on the sideline in civilian clothes watching a football game. So we will push on. Annie Brown's got another good topic for us, and she wanted me to bring up DeAnthony Fox. She wanted me to bring him up because he just signed a massive, or should I say De'Aaron Fox? I correct that. My apologies. De'Aaron Fox for the San Antonio Spurs just locked up one of the richest Supermax contracts in the NBA history, as far as I'm concerned. $229 million Supermax deal for 4 years. So if you a mathematician, do the math. $229 million guaranteed money, because in the NBA they guarantee every single cent down to the penny of your money. You're going to get your money whether he may not even be playing in a year or two, but he still is going to get his money, because the NBA is a league that you get guaranteed money just like Major League Baseball. I want Najee to dive into this, break it down. It looks like he'll be getting $57 million a year. Broke down on an average. So Najee, is De'Aaron Fox worthy and worth this kind of contract?
I mean, the way how the contracts are playing out now, you can't really even say if somebody's actually worth the money or not, because everybody's getting paid. Everybody's getting paid. They were just showing a statistic just now that the contract that Shea Alexander signed just this offseason is more than what the entire team got paid for the Spurs. I'm talking about for the 2013-2014 season. I'm talking about the entire team, not just one player. The contract he signed was more than what that team got paid altogether. So now, I mean, you can't really say, they're not worth the money, because guess what? Everybody's at this point getting paid. Everybody. It's not like it's just because of anything. But Fox been out for a minute. This is maybe 7-8 season. So he's not a rookie. He's not new. He's been with Sacramento Kings until just last season.
True.
He's a really good player. He's one of the fastest players in the league, and he got a deadly mid range. Serious. Every time he played against the Lakers, he tried to torture him. You know why? Because he was pissed off that Lonzo Ball got drafted before him. I guess so. I'm guessing that he wanted to go to the Lakers, and when they picked Lonzo Ball, every time that he played the Lakers, he tried to make sure that he demolished him.
So Isaiah, tell me this about De'Aaron Fox. $57 million is a lot of money. I mean, and Najee just broke it down to us in a simplistic form. Will De'Aaron Fox be able to help San Antonio get back to somewhat of the glory days that they used to be at when Pop was coaching them and all that good stuff? Because they got Wemby and several other good players. What do you think the Spurs are going to be able to do with De'Aaron Fox being on that roster?
Well, it still remains to be seen. When you can get at least three, you got to have three. You can't win anything without at least having three really dominant players in the NBA right now. You got to have three. You ain't going to do it with two anymore. You need three good players, and then the other two can just fill in and be okay. But the three has to be able to carry that load. Now, if you can get three of his players to gel with him, they're going to go somewhere. But if they don't have that cohesiveness where those three players are feeding off each other and they're not gelling and they're not buying into the coach's philosophy, they're going to be just an average team that's going to get there and have, a decent season, but not go anywhere beyond that. But I think that, when you play a player like that, you hoping to go further. man, because you shooting out that kind of money, that means you trying to go further than just the average season of having a decent season, man. You trying to go beyond the playoffs. So that's the way I look
And
at it.
he's supposed to be. And he's not even supposed to be the best player in the team that's making that type of money. Because that's supposed to be his team. So he's at best second best on that team. And then on top of it, they're both coming in off from last season off blood clots. Both of them had blood clots last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then on
I
top
know.
of it, now they got a new
Wow.
coach because you remember Pop had to step down because he got sick.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
it's a whole bunch of stuff going on for them. So they just hoping to lock him in right now. But yeah, they got a lot going on for next year because, like I said, both of them had blood clots last year, and they got a new coach. And I'm pretty sure they had to mix up the roster a little bit because now they lost Chris Paul. Chris Paul went back to LA to the Clippers.
Correct.
So now, I mean, yeah. So it's just it's up in the air.
There's a huge numbers of NBA players that getting blood clots. I wonder what's coming about for this to be happening. I
Especially
don't know
two on the
whether it's
same
their
team.
diets and they're young, man, and I don't know what they're giving these players in terms of their nutrition and the doctors that they're using. I mean, it's been really after I started paying attention to it, deeply when Bosch had blood clots, and all of a sudden
Back to back
it's been a
years.
trend. Yeah, back to back years, man. And this is a severe thing because you could be running down a court and collapse because
True.
of
And
it.
collapse, yeah.
So, and that's the reason why they, wanted Bosh to just go ahead and retire so he could just, take control of his health because this is a situation where it's severe. It ain't just something where you just had a heart murmur and the heart murmur is a little small hole in your heart and it'll close up eventually. And most of the time it does. But with this blood clot, man, it can hit your heart and kill you. You
Yeah, it,
can
it
die
could
right on the
actually kill
floor.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And what makes it worse about Bosch? When Bosch had the first time, all right, he had to sit out. Cool. Then he came
Mm-hmm.
back. Of course, you would think that okay, whatever I did to get it the first time, I'm gonna avoid it. He was even on a commercial to prevent it because he was taking some type of supplement. And guess what? He
Yeah.
caught it again. I'm like, bro, then
Yeah.
me personally, I don't think I seen that commercial no more after that. After he caught blood clots
Yeah.
again, they didn't show the commercial no more. No more. So
Yeah, it was a
I don't know. Maybe
pharmaceutical
they,
company commercial. Was it like a
yeah,
pharmaceutical company or
yeah.
something?
Just like any commercial, just any commercial you see when they push out a new medicine and then they give you
Yeah.
17 side effects or whatever. So
Yeah.
it was just one of
Yeah.
those. They used to do it every like timeout for the Heat. Every time they had a timeout, they would show his commercial.
Right.
And then after they announced that he had it again, I didn't see that commercial not one more time after that.
They had to pull that commercial because it was showing that it don't work like some of this
Yeah,
stuff does.
And if it don't
I
work,
mean,
it
it
don't
makes
work.
sense, but
There's
yeah.
nothing you could do about that,
When
right?
they first, I remember when Karl Malone started to go bald from having an afro, and he was out there with that Rogaine, pushing that Rogaine, and that Joker had started to recede further on. Next thing you know, the Rogaine commercial stopped playing, and now his damn head is clean as the basketball that's going down the court.
It's polished too. You see
Yeah,
how he polishes his head? It's
hmm
super polished
yeah,
right now.
yep,
But one thing is for sure, I could tell you, Karl Malone was a bulldozer, man, when he played, especially his first 5 years in the league. Man, he was kind of
yeah,
another one of them players like Shaq to me. You got in his way. If you tried to take a charge, man, you were putting your life at risk taking a
yeah.
charge from
He
Karl
ran through
Malone
the buzzsaw.
back in
Which
the
is
He
day.
couldn't
crazy. As
handle.
strong as he was, he had a really deadly mid range, which was crazy. Normally,
Yeah,
people that strong,
yeah.
they really can't shoot the ball consistent.
That's
He
true.
was a big bully on the court, man, but he ran into Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, and they put him in his
They put that
place.
thing on him. Yeah,
Good
the
enough.
Jordan them,
Yeah,
they had an answer for him.
he
That's
had
all
for
that
him,
was. Him
man.
and
He
He couldn't
Stockton
even.
and
he,
Thurl Bailey and all those
but
guys that played for Utah, they had an
Yeah,
answer for those guys back then.
it,
You
it was,
know.
but that's when you know something is not meant for you. So just like you said, he had back-to-back years that he lost to Jordan, right? You
Mm-hmm.
do know he went 3 times, right? You know he went three
Yeah.
times. Do you
Yeah.
know the third time he went?
No,
What's the third time he went?
I
He
can't
went with
remember
the
the
Lakers
third.
in '04 when he was with the Lakers when him
Oh
and Gary
yeah, you're
Payton
right.
went
You're
to
right.
'04. And guess
Yeah.
what? He
Yeah.
was the one that got hurt that series, so he couldn't give them what he gave them the whole season.
Yeah.
So
That's
Rasheed
true.
Wallace took complete
I
advantage
remember
of that.
that. I thought he
I
was
remember
gonna
Yep.
it too
finally get his
now.
He
ring
had
or whatever.
three chances.
Yeah.
Then he had Stockton. Okay, we're gonna try to the game. We lost to Jordan, but guess what? We had Shaq and Kobe, and I still couldn't help them at the end because I got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know one of the most game changing moments, and I think with that series against the Bulls, is they just sucked the. I mean, they just turned loose the worm on Karl Malone, Dennis Rodman.
Hmm.
They turned
Yeah.
loose the worm, and
Yeah.
see the worm was able to get him out of his game sometimes
Yeah.
because the worm was
Yeah.
was gouging and
That
kicking
was his
and
duty though.
doing all kind of stuff, trying to snatch his
Yeah,
pants down on the court. I think
that was
Isaiah
his
was the one
duty.
to mention that, right?
Irritating. Yeah,
That was his
irritating.
duty. He was the guy who's gonna freaking take you totally out of your game because he gonna fill on your butt. He gonna grab you by the back of the head. He gonna do everything to intimidate you to get you,
Yep.
your
Get you
Yeah,
out of your
you
he
off
used
game.
to do
game.
All they
a
trying to
lot
do
of
is
Yeah,
stuff
get
to
you out of
piss
your
you
he
off.
game.
was an expert at that. He was an expert
And
at
and the
that, man.
worm was one
He
of the
would
best in
grab
the
you out of
business at that. Yeah.
yeah, yep. I remember
Just
he used
like
to grab Warner
years.
by his rear end.
Oh,
Lonzo
he
Mourning
grabbed
used to do it in the
everybody. I mean,
morning
he's
too.
literally went around the
Yep.
Yeah, he
league
used
doing
to
that.
kiss Adam and all. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
man.
you know, the crazy thing is, if it was one athlete, I don't know if it was right after I got out of high school, it was right when I was in, like at the end of my high school years, when it was talking about Dennis Rodman, and they were saying the type of antics he does. You do know, okay, when you're running throughout the game and then you take a breather, what's the first thing anybody gonna do? Put their hands on their knees and kind of, slouch over a
Yeah.
little bit, right, to get
Sure.
some air.
Yeah, and that's when he
So when
grabbed him
he's
by the butt.
no, 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 no. He said Dennis Rodman walked right past him and farted. Well, you know how
Oh my
disrespectful that is.
God. Yeah.
That's one of the most
I say,
deadliest things
bro,
he had
and
in
you
his
know,
toolbox, right?
when you're trying to get air, you're gasping, and he just got a whole
Yeah.
bunch
You
of
Yeah.
gotta
funk right in
intake
his
that.
throat, bro.
That
That's some
aroma
nasty
coming
stuff,
straight through
man.
your nose. Unavoidable. Unavoidable.
Unavoidable.
Yeah.
You had to have
I'd have
smelling
punched him
salt when
in
he
the face
walked
for that.
past you almost to wake you back up.
He would have
So,
gave
And
me
then
a tick because I would have
he
punched him
purposely
in the
didn't wear
chest.
deodorant either.
Yeah. I'd have been sitting on the bench. I would have tagged him dead in the chest. I would have punched him in the chest.
oh yeah. So since we're on the conversation and the topic of contracts, Najee, let me ask you about Luka. Luka's new contract. His extension is for $165 million in 3 years. So that to me is
Hmm.
kind of a game changer, similar to De'Aaron Fox, although the numbers are completely different. But if you look at
Hmm.
165 million in 3 years, you divide that three times. That's a lot of money. And Luka deserves every penny of it, just like De'Aaron Fox did. Do you think
Hmm.
Luka and
Yeah.
LeBron is going to be able to pair up and they're going to be able to put a team on the floor that can get them to the playoffs and to the finals this coming year? Because I'm going to just tell you, Mark Walter, the new owner, he's not going to settle for anything less. He's already winning World Series titles with the Dodgers, and all he wants is results. And I'm pretty sure, like we talked about in our past shows, he's just going to unleash
Hmm.
Magic and let Magic run that organization technically now since Jeannie Buss is out of the way. Because Magic couldn't do it before because, they had people, they had snitches inside that everything he said went right back to Jeannie Buss. So tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about what you think about Luka's contract.
Well, obviously they're already showing that they went younger. Anthony Davis is younger than LeBron. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's Anthony than LeBron. But guess what? Luke is also younger than Anthony Davis, and he's also a dog. So they're putting all their eggs into Luca right now. He's only 26, so he has a lot. Depending on how long he want to play, he has a lot of basketball to play. So of course, they went in the direction of Luca. LeBron, from what they're saying, a lot of people saying rumor wise that this might be his last year, and he's probably gonna, because everybody that knows LeBron, guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna try to make a huge announcement about it and try to make the entire year make it about himself. Like everything is gonna be freaking expensive as crap to be able to see him his last year. They're gonna try to market
for sure. Those
the
ticket
crap
prices
out
are
of it.
going up.
They're gonna try to market the crap out of it. They're gonna have
Yes.
commercials. They're gonna have all types of mobility and all that stuff. They're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff ready for this man. So of course, he is what 41. He's like 41, 42 years old, and this is gonna be his 23rd season. And I know his birthday is in December 30th, so he's gonna be about 41, 42. So he is getting. I mean, he's already an uncharted era of not only playing basketball but playing it in such a extreme high level at his age and the type of mileage that he has on his body already. So guess what? We're going Luka way. We're going to Luka way. We're going to try to have LeBron to maybe kind of breed him the best way he can for his last season that he's going to be with him. Because I'm pretty sure he's already telling him about nourishment and the way how you take care of your body, because Luka would drink a beer like, after the game, whatever.
He definitely. I've seen him drinking beer before.
So you already know you can't do that. You
in the locker room,
that, man. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to play long, like he's young, he's really young. So most of the time, young star players don't care about their health as much as they should because they already can't be guarded. Everybody says that Luka is fat. Everybody says he's overweight, right? But who can stop him?
He don't play like that. I mean, he plays just like he's in tip-top condition to me.
Nobody can stop him, just like James Harden. Everybody say James Harden is an overweight player, but guess what? When he was with the Rockets, nobody could not stop him. So you gonna tell me I'm overweight, right? But guess what? Can you even stop me? No, you can't. Shaq was never in peak condition, especially when he was with the Lakers. He was never in peak condition. But guess what? You could not stop me. So what can you tell me? What can you tell me? You're in better shape than me, right? But you can't even guard me. So that's what it is.
That's why Kobe used to always think that Shaq could have been even more dominant if he would have kept himself in shape, because he was carrying that extra added pounds, but he was still dominant. And Kobe felt like, wow, man, if this guy is this good carrying those extra load, he could be even better if he lose 30 pounds.
Imagine if he put in the type of work that I do.
Yeah.
If he put the type of work that I do, man, he's averaging 45.
That's what he was trying to understand. But I'm going to tell you this, too. Later on in his career, that weight caught up to him, too.
It did.
And it marginalized his career,
got so
man,
slow,
because
sloppy.
Yep. And then he couldn't buy a free throw, so he was not that good at free throwing anyway, so people would foul him just to put him on the line. So that
he was not very good at free throw. His free throw average really was bad. You know,
all you had to do was hack a Shaq, put him on the line, put him on the line, and he
hack a Shaq. That's what the term was back then, right?
I hit him when we need him. You always need him. If you're on the line, damn it, you go, I make him when I need him. No, when you go on the line, you're supposed to make him with things why they put you on the line.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So overall, with the NBA, with these astronomical supermax deals, I just only think that it's going to get more elevated, more higher. Players are going to get even more richer. They're going to have to expand their salary cap because they've probably already exceeded the one they have now, right?
Yeah, they should.
They got all these contracts with all these streaming apps. That helps too.
Yeah, it does.
They got all these contracts. Contracts everywhere. Contracts is everywhere. So guess what? Everybody's gonna be getting paid.
You know, people always complaining about players and their salary now. I've never had an issue with it. I was so gratified when they start paying in the NIL, where the college kids can get money and the high school kids can get money. They never, ever, ever talk about that man in that booth who's cutting his checks and all the money they're making. So think about this, you guys. Now,
they out of sight, out of mind. You can't talk about something you don't see.
For a player, and it's just like a garbage man. A garbage man is the one that makes that thing go. The guy who's on the back of the truck or the guy who's driving. They make the least amount of money in that organization as a sanitation company.
Correct.
At least.
Correct.
But then people are always talking about them. It's the same thing with basketball. The basketball players are the face of it. The drivers and the guys who
Mm-hmm.
ride in the back of that sanitation truck is the face of that sanitation company. They get and people be, hey man, the guys from garbage. Listen, this is the face of the basketball team. This is the face of the sanitation company. And people complain about their money. I'm not ever complaining. I don't care how much money they make because you can go out there. We just got through talking about an injury. You don't hear about the owners getting injured. Only thing they're doing is cutting a check and they relaxing with their beer and
Up in their luxury
booze and
boxes, or
yes, and all their rich
yeah.
buddies, and nobody ever talk about the TV rights money they get and all that stuff. They always focus on what the players are making, and not even that. We go even further when it comes to the jump off. Usually Shay just cut a check for $23 million, and now he's just small potatoes compared to an owner who's a billionaire. You don't hear billionaires getting jammed up with no jump offs, giving them freaking $30 million because they had a bad night. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Shoot, man.
Hey, you know
Yeah.
what? You watch your mouth and leave Shay alone. Shay already grieving about that money coming up out of his pocket like that. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
he told Ocho.
I'm
He
pretty
said, "Yeah,
sure
my pockets are feeling
Shay is
light
going
these
to have
days."
nightmares for years about that money having
He
to leave
will.
his pocket, his bank
Yeah.
account.
No, but it's not only the money
Mm,
that he lost. It's the money that he lost that was coming to him too. He had a job with
yeah.
ESPN and he had $100 million deal on the table. He
On
lost
the
all of
table.
that, bro.
All of that. And that's what I keep saying,
Yeah,
DC.
well,
When we keep
that's the
talking
risk you
about that
take.
23 million, that's just, peanuts comparison to what he lost as a whole. You give away 23 million and then you lose half of your audience on your show and then you lose your job as well. So man, he got a big hit across the head, man. Oh man, that was like a get
And
hit
then
with a freaking Louisville slugger. Bam, across
and
the
then he
head.
did and then he didn't want to talk have that in the air about that while his brother was finally getting into the Hall of Fame too. So now we still
Yeah,
even though it was a great accomplishment for his older brother, but the thing is we still focus on what Shannon got going on in his life, so it's really taking all the flair for him. And I'm pretty sure that
it
was still emotional
It
for him.
did.
Like, man,
It
you
did.
waited
And that's
all
why
these
he was.
years to finally get in this
Yeah.
position, and they talk about
And
me
then
and
the
what I'm doing in my
same week,
bed.
but just like the same week though, you just think about that, Najee. The same week that his brother getting dumped into the NFL, this is the week that you get fired and your jump off get paid. Same week, and he tried his best to try to get that thing stopped until all the ceremony stuff was over with his brother. And they did it anyway. They
hmm
just dropped it right in his laps, man. Hey, man,
He
can
said,
you
"Can you at
guys
least wait
hold
till
on to
after
me,
the
please?"
ceremony?" And they weren't going for
Oh
it.
man,
I don't know if it was
no,
him or
no, we got
somebody that
Garcia
was
for you now.
within it. Probably, they probably leaked the information. Maybe it wasn't really ESPN. Maybe it was somebody within ESPN or somebody's close to him leaked it because they want to be the first one to say it, like everybody wants to. Just like
That's
TMZ,
how the fire.
TMZ is better. TMZ is better than anybody when it comes to leaking stuff. They gonna make they have
Nah,
somebody
the
stationed everywhere in
firing.
this country.
Yeah, but the firing they could have held off. I mean, all they had to do was just
I
hold
know,
it off.
but I'm
They
saying
knew
maybe
his
wasn't
brother
maybe
was going to be
it entirely
abducted.
wasn't headed though.
Yeah.
Well,
If it
But
I'll
was if
anyway,
it
just
he
was
live
didn't
my
entirely
go
two
home.
cents.
ESPN, nobody they don't care if they don't care about nobody's feelings. They want to be the first one to say it.
Yeah. Well, they dogged him out, man, because he was just not himself. He was proud, he was happy, but he would have been jumping for joy. But he was just out of it, man. He had on these dog shades and tears, looked like skid marks coming down his
Well,
face, and he
he's an
just
emotional
couldn't hold
guy
himself.
because he's taken that
He's
journey
an emotional
with
guy,
Yeah,
period,
Sterling and
though.
his sister. They've taken that long
no,
journey to where they are today, and I could see him getting emotional with that. Personally, I could.
yeah, but
When you
I've seen
worked
him
hard to
highlight that
come
a
from where
lot,
he's
though,
come
on
from
several
too.
different things.
So let me add a little bit of more context
Yeah,
to this $100 million contract, and then we'll move on to another topic. it looks like he was negotiating with a podcast platform called The Volume, which is pretty much run and owned by Colin Cowherd. If you've ever watched a Herd on FS1, Colin Cowherd is one of the best, to me, podcasters and digital media announcers in the business. I've always watched him. I've liked him. I thought he's always shot off the hip. He's shot right down the middle. He don't go too far left. He don't go too far right. And I think Shannon signed with his platform initially when he left Skip. Yeah. And they were trying to renegotiate a contract where this was going to be one of the richest contracts for Club Shay Shay to be on Colin Cowherd's, podcast. And, it's still up in the air. We haven't heard much on it, but the rumors and everybody pretty much knows that deal is pretty much dead in the water as far as I could see it, unless Colin Cowherd is just going to overlook it and just say, okay, I'll go forward with it, which I don't think so, because he has investors, I'm pretty sure, and they might not want it to happen. You just don't know, right?
Yeah. You've ever seen, a balloon that's holding to commemorate somebody, and it's got helium in it?
I know where you're going. Go ahead.